It has been a big week for data centers in Montgomery County. In case you missed it, Pepco site owner Terra Energy has gained conceptual approval in 2024 for a data center complex on the industrially zoned land where the Pepco coal plant was. The conceptual approval was given without a site plan or information about water or power use under quote-unquote cable communications because the county does not yet have a defined use or regulatory framework for data centers. A George Mason University study has just come out highlighting the public health concerns about data centers, including noise, massive power and water use. The study urges strong regulations to protect public health and careful planning on site selection and water consumption. Another study came out yesterday from Virginia Commonwealth University, finding that Northern Virginia's data center use of backup diesel generators, like the ones being proposed for the Dickerson 110-acre data center complex, make the Commonwealth's data center emissions on the same level as area power plants. To quote the lead researcher, "You'd rather be living next to a natural gas power plant than living next to a whole bunch of data centers in terms of the total amount of air pollution they put out per year." What about water? The Atmosphere CEO, Chuck McBride, maintains their systems don't use any water.
50 megawatts. We had substation, there's transmission lines, there's power there, there's water. Our technology doesn't use any water, but in general. Um,
We found an Maryland Department of the Environment permit application for September 2025 from Dickerson Project Developer Atmosphere to use as much as 2 million gallons of water per day from the Potomac for cooling their 5 proposed data centers in Dickerson. We all remember that the last 2 summers have had severe droughts, and just last month, residents were asked by WSSC to undertake voluntary water restrictions. Also new this week, New York State is now considering a 3-year moratorium on data centers, joining 6 other states, both red and blue, considering moratoriums, along with Prince George's, Baltimore, and Frederick counties here in Maryland that have enacted moratoriums. Here in Montgomery County, it has been a different scenario thus far, as the public's call for a pause on the push to open the county to data centers, ZTA 2601, and drafted county executive regulations, has met resistance from the council president, and yesterday the planning board declined to recommend a moratorium. Yesterday's planning hearing revealed collective deaf ears to the significant questions that have been raised about the impacts of deploying data centers here. Planning staff acknowledged that they could not hit details and there are unanswered questions, but folks can get to those later as the zoning text amendment proceeds over a couple of months. Planning board members articulated that the massive power consumption to feed this industry is not of concern as long as data centers find some renewable energy to support each project. Missing was the fact that the amount of ground solar to support a project like the proposed hyperscale Dickerson data centers would likely be many thousands of acres. And water, as per usual, was not discussed, even though the project will draw 100% of the water for cooling from the Potomac. Impact on electrical ratepayers already paying higher energy prices for Virginia's data centers was also not discussed. We know from the State Office of People's Counsel that MD ratepayers are already footing the bill for data center expansion, and this CTA potentially exacerbates that. There is no official information from Atmosphere on how much energy they will use, but interviews seem to point to it being up to a gigawatt of power.
we found out we had customers saying, "Hey, I don't need just 30. Can you build me 900 megawatts? Almost a gigawatt, right?" So, and then we realized there's almost just as much brain damage in getting the zoning done and entitlements and permitting and all the community aspect to doing 30 megawatts as it is to do 900 or 1,000 megawatts. And so you're almost the same amount of work, same team, staffing wise. So we just decided, let's go build gigawatt campuses. That's what customers started asking
Yeah.
for us.
Montgomery Countryside Alliance and colleagues from Montgomery County Climate Change Coalition and Montgomery County Sierra Club provided testimony supporting care and necessary time to create a framework for the industry that does not undermine critical county goals. And the public? Planning staff acknowledged hundreds of letters asking for a pause and sharing concerns. We stand with the MoCo Climate Coalition's over 20 member groups in asking that the county executive put in an executive order putting a pause on data center permits and applications until all these questions can be answered. What can you do? There is still time to be heard as the council takes up the matter at the public hearing on Zoning Text Amendment 2601 on February 24th. Visit our action alert to make your concerns known and please share it widely. Consider signing up to testify virtually or in person by the 23rd at 2 p.m. Please visit mocoalliance.org/news to take action and learn more. Thank you. Please stay tuned.